If you guys are interested in probably one of the coolest rabbit holes of content right now, there's this person named Terilyn Romero, and on TikTok, her name is the Real Wicked Witch of the West. And
that's a long ass handle.
Yeah, she's going through this insanely detailed legal dispute over this house that she bought in Colorado, and you're gonna love this story because it is really messed up what the government's trying to do with her land that she rightfully bought. So here's how it starts. She buys this house in Jefferson County. It's in the city of Kittredge, Colorado, and in this house, it's like on a hill, and it's advertised as having like, ooh, a creek runs through your backyard.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so it's not even a full acre, but then down the backyard, there's like a whole creek going through. It really is beautiful. So she buys this home, and then as the seasons change and it starts to get like warmer, all of a sudden she just sees hella people using the creek like as if it's a public park. But this is her actual
that's my house.
Property. She pays taxes on this, right? So then she goes back there and she starts filming these people. They're like having full-on parties, picnics, you know, they'll leave their trash there, they'll like dig up the ground and like, you know, just random stuff that you would do at like a little beach. And then she starts, you know, trying to reason with them like, hey, like I bought this house right here, this is technically my land, can you guys like please, you know, respect it, whatever.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. She's actually like initially pretty decent about it, but then the neighborhood starts to rally against her.
Is it because they've been doing that for like hella years? And then they're like, oh, well, how are you fucking California ass moving over here trying to tell us how to fucking...
I don't know if she's from California, but...
She's from the West.
Happens, right? Like, people hate Californians because they move all over to other states and then they do this whole like, not in my backyard.
Yeah.
Manifest destiny.
Yeah, so basically it becomes, it like... turns into this huge tirade of like hatred from the people in the town, and they start having these like meetings and town hall things where they're like saying that she should get the land taken away from her and stuff.
Oh, that's
and then the actual county ends up filing a suit against her and trying to claim the land through adverse possession, which is one of those like weird statutes that kind of says, oh, somebody's been, or like the last person who owned this land and the last person who owned it before them has always let it happen. It's been this way for 35 years, so we're gonna take this land.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's crazy. And so, so she's, every step of the way from the very start, she's documented all of this on the TikTok. She's very like transparent about like, here's the paperwork that we filed, here's what they said. And then so the county's also telling her like at this point they're like, yeah, there's been no objections to how the land is used for 35 years, and they're saying that in the meantime you can have all the time you want to prepare your legal defense, but during this time you have to open your land to the public.
What?
Yeah, they were telling her that. And then also they said that the creek is actually owned by the county, but that over time the creek moved. And because the creek moved, they should still own the creek.
The government is dumb as fuck.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the craziest shit I ever heard.
That's something called accretion. It's like when a body of water or like something like...
It's always changing.
Yeah, it's always changing, yeah. But they're saying like, oh, well, you know, you own the land, but the creek which runs through it used to run here, and now it's through your land.
That means the creek's now yours.
I own the creek from here to here, bitch. I don't say I own the whole creek.
You own that fucking...
I'm not saying that.
Like, you know when you buy a house, they give you the fucking deed? There's fucking like coordinates and shit, and it goes, this is what you own.
Yeah, so they ended up reaching a settlement where she offered to sell them back a portion of the land. She's like, all right, you guys can't take it, but I'm willing to sell you part of it. So then,
that's smart.
Yeah.
They stop throwing Chick-fil-A wrappers everywhere.
I know, yeah.
It's like north side of the creek, though. I own the south side.
It has, that land does get pretty like trashed, and so she ends up reaching that settlement where they're gonna they're like trying to figure out like draw the lines and everything, and it's still continually getting messy every step of the way. They're always trying to like put one over on her, like even when they draw the lines or even when they go there and they physically place the poles to be like here to here, it's different the next time. It's like there's all these like little snags. And then so what she ends up doing is she files a demand letter to the previous owner who sold her the home to be like, you didn't disclose any of this when you sold the home. You actually listed it as on the advertisement for the sale, it says, "Wow, Bear Creek running through the backyard."
Wow.
Yeah.
That's on the Zillow?
Yeah, and then so you're not allowed to do that. You can't just be like, oh, and then later on be like, oh, actually that's a disputed land, because they never disclosed that the entire top half of the land was under adverse claim by the county. And then during the deposition that they had with the legal teams, the previous owners actually did say, oh, we always thought the creek was part of the park. So you can't say that it's part of the park and advertise the house sale like, oh, you get this creek.
Yeah.
So there's even a recorded phone call with the prior owners where they said, they're recorded saying they didn't want the public to know that they owned that land because sorting the ownership was going to be a major undertaking, and that they knew there would be a resident uprising.
Whoa.
If they brought it up. So they just let people use it.
Oh.
Yeah. So then she's sending a demand letter for, I think, 1.2 mil, 1.6 mil, something like that. Like a lot for the damages. She's had like a horrible time. Like people have been, yeah, they treated her like total shit. Yeah.
She sounds like a Karen.
To be honest, like, I kind of blame her.
Why?
I think she doesn't know how to mediate. I think she doesn't know how to negotiate. I think this whole thing between her and the city, it escalates because, well, depending on how you approach people, I don't know how she talked to them or whatever, right? But they're both, the city and her are fighting about the stupidest shit, because this is the main reason. The reason why it was a nuisance is because the people were fucking digging up shit and leaving trash, right? So I tell the city, yeah, sure, if it's owned by you guys, why don't you enforce that people don't come to the fucking nature and destroy the shit out of it? And then I'm like, okay, well, get some park rangers, get some bathrooms, get some things, like make it a good spot where people can enjoy but still act fucking civil. Because I think that's the biggest issue, is like, it's like some people don't know how to like respect the land, and then they feel entitled to it, but then they fuck it up hard.
Yeah,
but would they listen though? You know, like Eden Canyon has fuck tons of graffiti. I'm sure people complain about it, but
I feel like it depends on the community's culture and then everything, right? Because like you will go to certain places and there's fucking beer cans everywhere and destroyed, and you'll go to other places and people know how to fucking act civil and enjoy nature and pick up after themselves. So I'm like, Hawaii, you know, like there's a lot of places like
the graffiti's kind of sick though.
States.
It's a nice touch.
What about
Utah's a good example.
What about the idea that it's her land, she pays taxes, and she doesn't want to have to share it with people, and she doesn't want to be forced to do that?
Yeah, plus she's probably liable if something happens on the property.
That's
a whole other thing.
Start a fire, like something like that. Like she's liable for the, situation.
Which is why the government's probably like, okay, fine, we'll take it back. So then if they do take it, I think she is entitled to payment or compensation for them. Yeah. They can't just seize it. I think that's what's fucked up.
Mediation or not, if she does come away with like $1 million.
I'll show you guys. Here's a visual of this is what the land looks like.
Started to warm up. Everything changed.
It's beautiful as fuck.
People started wandering into my backyard
that's
from
insane.
a park that sits next to my backyard. You know, by the summer, I had 55 people wandering into my backyard almost every single day, and it had become a full-blown water park. I was incredibly confused. I just bought this property. I did all the due diligence.
Well, you didn't do the due diligence.
I know that is mine. Why are so many people coming here? It's my backyard. I'm paying taxes on it. I own all of it. And they were destroying it. They broke my trees. They destroyed the creek bank. They left trash. And they were there all the time. You know, I can hear them in my house. They're just right outside my window. So I went down and talked to everybody to figure out what in the world was going on. Some people knew that the property was private. Some people said prior owners gave us permission to be back here many years ago. And other people had no idea. I figured I've just got to make people aware that this is private property. Said I just moved in, you know, this is my backyard. In that first year, I didn't tell anyone to leave.
I don't know, I think there's the legal part, but I also think there's the whole like, dude, this is, you're a newcomer. Like, why don't you get with the community program and then blend in and then make your changes.
Yeah, but bro, they're making a Hurricane Harbor in her backyard. It's like this is not the same thing.
Well, what about the fence too? Like, why can't?
That's what I was thinking.
You know, like there's like, why can't there be fences and signs and like, you know,
So
like
she did. She ended up putting signs and roping it off, and people just didn't give a shit.
and
Yeah,
then they
they're
still walk
flipping her
over?
off from her backyard.
You look at these. Well, if you look at this,
Well, can't she start shooting them then? Because that's kind of nice. I'd start shooting them.
I stole the land, and it was just a nightmare.
yeah,
They do look indigenous.
It was.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like Native Americans.
Indigenous whites of Colorado.
Yeah.
This is our land.
That's pretty funny.
I would talk to a grandma with her young kids.
Yeah, they pretty much like always
that's
flip her
wild.
off and they like harass her.
I would go to war.
I think the fucked up person is the sellers.
For trespassing.
I think it's illegal to shoot people.
So you want her to share the land and shoot them?
I would say, hey, this is my land. Come use it.
Mediate and shoot them.
But if you flip me off,
Yeah.
you're trespassing.
He said they weren't civil.
They weren't
enough.
civil.
And he's like, open fire.
But civil or not, it's like I think so her angle is that she knows her rights and she's just like, I don't have to do anything. Like this is just my land. And the fact that the government's trying to like push these like things on her unfairly, she's just trying to fight back against the government for, you know, just the good of the law.
The sellers are the assholes.
I think she might have a case against her like title company or the people that went through escrow because in due diligence that's the part where you're supposed to go. Was anything still unsettled? Like, are there any liens? Like any other prior? Like litigation going through, and then there's that whole adverse like land thing, right? Where like they've been arguing over it. Like that stuff should have came up.
Yeah, she has a video explaining why she's not suing them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And she bought it during off season, right? Like it was wintertime or some shit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Wouldn't she just be like, okay, so I have my own creek?
Yeah,
Wouldn't she
no,
be
they
like,
really
that's-
made her think. They really made her think like in every way.
This
Like all the verbiage was like, yeah,
This
you get
whole
this
thing
creek.
is mine?
Yeah, it was a selling point. Yeah, they didn't say anything about the land dispute, about the usage,
That's a
about the
fucked up
she did
neighborhood.
say wow though.
Did they say
Wow.
Wow.
Creek.
She should have read into the wow.
Her name Terilyn does rhyme with Karen.
I think she needs to create a sniper tower
Yeah.
and
To mediate from.
I like where you're going now.
And she needs a sign that says no trespassing. No trespassing. Violators will be shot.
Damn.
Shot on sight.
You don't think that's gonna create a little more friction with the town?
Nah.
No. And then on the bottom,
Civil. This is
and
civil.
on the bottom, it's please sign up for a water park pass.
There you go.
See, that'd be tight.
Industrious.
Yeah. And then it's like, I got a water park pass. And then it's like, all right, cool, you could come in.
Oh my
Yeah, she's not
God.
just selling mission.
And then as soon as somebody comes in the water park, they get blown up by an IED, and then Joe's like, "Oh right, I forgot
Move those.
all those explosives."
Oh shit.
And then next time he just puts play at your own risk in the asterisk.
There are landmines out here.
Landmines? Question mark?
Dealing with people is tough because then like this is like a pretty extreme case, but then you also even hear like of neighbors just fighting for that 1 inch of where the property line is.
Oh, yeah.
They put up hedges and I can't fucking see, or this is part of mine, and they're fighting literally for like this much of land, and they're just trying to shift it.
You gotta go to court for that and
fucking
shit.
crazy.
Well, it's because over
Yeah.
time, you know, like the creek, it just moves.
The house
you
moves.
got to put your fucking foot down, put some landmines in there.
Isn't the creek big? Isn't there other spots they can go fucking hang out at?
Well, I guess because
Creeks
there's
move like this every
That's what
couple
I'm saying,
years.
baby.
It does.
Just
It
go
keeps
down
moving.
Well, especially with all these assholes digging at the side of it, they're redirecting the flow of water.
Yeah, breaking trees.
That's what I would do if I was a community. I would start moving the creek back, right?
That's kind of sick. The way that the geography looks, it looks like there's like a state park right there, and then you can see that little creek bank from the park. So it looks very like I think like intuitively you'd go, oh, let's go over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are like other parts of the creek, but it's such an accessible like I guess traditionally
People
used.
just go there all the time.
Yeah, they just go all the time, and
It's
like
beautiful though.
Yeah, it looks great.
And she paid a lot of money for the property.
That's
so
a nice
that's
fence.
the-
I feel like could solve this problem, but no.
I think so. I think that's where they are now. I believe that now that she, is selling them back some of the land, I believe that they're dividing, But then I don't know if they want to put a fence. I think she's saying maybe the county will put a fence, but to put a fence just kind of.
That's also weird. Yeah, I honestly think they just need to pay her. But the space needs to be public. You know what I mean? They just need to buy it from her.
Yeah, that's what she's saying. She's like, it's fine. Just like it's mine, so they can't just.
I think that's a nice settlement. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's official moving forward for every future owner.
And then sniper towers and IEDs.
Sniper towers are the best. With tripwire. Tripwire is really good.
The city should pay for this sniper tower.